Okay, hello. Next section of notes here, 3.3 in the textbook. It's on page 183. We are solving inequalities still. In the previous section, we solved inequalities, by either adding or subtracting. This time, we're going to solve inequalities by multiplication and division. So that's the difference. There's also a big trick coming up you have to remember involving negatives. Well, this first problem, there's no negatives, so we don't have to worry about that. It just says 3b is greater than 27. So 3 times what number would give you an answer that's bigger than 27? Well, to solve that, you simply divide by 3. And your 3's can be marked out. They become 1. And you get b is greater than 27 divided by 3 is 9. You just solved it, but the directions will say solve and graph. So straight line, 2 arrows, always shows 0. 9 about right there. I'm just kind of guessing where 9 would be. Remember your open circle, closed circle concept. In this case, it's not underlined, so it's an open circle to the right because it's greater than. You just solved it and graphed it. Number two, negative 40 is greater than or equal to 8b. First thing, look where your b is. The b is over on the right. The very first thing I want you to get in the habit of is put the 8b on this side. Therefore, your negative 40 goes on that side. We always want the b on the left. It's easier to graph that way. But don't forget, when you flip-flop the 40 and the negative 40 and the 8b, you must also flip your inequality sign. Now we're ready to solve. We do that by dividing by 8. So my 8's are gone. They become 1. I get b is less than or equal to negative 40 divided by 8. That's negative 5. So I just solved it. Now let's graph it. Straight line, 2 arrows, there's 0. Negative 5 would be way over here. Open circle or closed circle? It's underlined, so it must be closed. And it's less than, so it goes off to the left. And we're done with that problem. There's number 2. Let's do the next one, number 3. D over 3 is greater than 6. Well, my D is already on the left. Don't have any negatives to worry about. Well, how do I get rid of that 3? And that's by multiplying by 3. So I multiply each side by 3, which allows me to mark out these 3's. That becomes 1. And I get D is greater than 6 times 3 makes 18. So I have it solved. Graph it, straight line, 2 arrows, 0. 18 would be out there. It's not underlined, so open circle. Greater than means go off to the right. And I'm done. There's number 3. I want to skip to number 6. Because there's something else I have to show you. Well, not here yet. No negative, so I don't have the trick to show you yet. Some of you may already know the negative trick. On this one, the 2/3, to solve these, remember reciprocal. I'm gonna multiply by the reciprocal 2 over 3. And I multiply this side also. I'm sorry, I think I said the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2 over 3 is 3 over 2. I think I said that wrong. But 3 over 2 is the reciprocal. Now what that allows me to do is I can mark out my 3's and I can mark out my 2's. So I'm just left with the k. K is greater than. But the other side, may be easier to put this 6 over 1. And you can mark out the 2 and the 6 would become a 3. And you have 3 times 3, which is 9. There I have it solved. The graphing part, straight line, 2 arrows, 0, 9. Open circle, it's not underlined, to the right because it's greater than. There's number 6. I'm done. 2 more problems. Number 9. Look at number 9 on your paper. Here's some negatives. Negative 2x is less than negative 10. Well, I simply divide by negative 2. And I'm dividing by a negative. I'm dividing by a negative 2, which makes me switch my sign. I divide by a negative, so I have to switch the sign. I do everything else the same. Negative 2's are gone. Negative 10 divided by negative 2, remember that 2 negatives make a positive, so it's positive 5. So the answer is x is greater than 5. I can graph that. Straight line, 2 arrows, 0, 5, open circle, greater than. And I'm done with that problem. What about number 10? Number 10, b over negative 2 is greater than or equal to 8. To solve this one, I want to multiply each side by negative 2. And because I'm multiplying by a negative 2, I must switch the sign. So let me tell you the rule. Anytime you divide by a negative or you multiply by a negative, you switch the sign. Finishing this problem, my 2's can be marked out. I'm sorry, my negative 2's can be marked out, leaving me with a b. And 8 and negative 2 multiplied together makes negative 16. I have it solved. Now graph, straight line, 2 arrows, 0 in the middle, negative 16. It's underlined, so I want a closed circle. Less than means it goes off to the left. And that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. Good luck on these.